Well, I was driving along and the check engine light starts flashing and runs rough at 50 miles an hour. I quickly pull over and cut it off and had it towed back here. And then I had it towed to the dealer, and they told me that I had the timing chains stretch and it jumped time, so it gave a P0021, which is random misfire, 306, which is cylinder 6, 304 cylinder 4, and P300 was misfire codes, and the M5300. So for a diagnostic they charged me $115, and to fix the problem they're charging me that price, and I don't have that money, even though that's kind of a disrespect to Cadillac owners everywhere. I know if you have a Cadillac or anything expensive, you should have the money to fix everything, but I do have the parts. I paid $600. I have brand new chains, oil pump, water pump, all gaskets, the plenum gasket, the lower intake gasket, and the timing cover gasket, and all the tensioners. And the only thing I don't have are the cam actuators and the I think they're the sensors for the cams that go into the timing cover that screw in. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but anyway, they really should have put a recall on that problem. This is a known problem. I can't say that people out there to really do your research on a vehicle before you get taken in by the looks of a car and all the gidgy gadgets. But anywho, I'm going to try to fix this on my own. I got pretty good ways into it. It started raining. I got down to the crank bolt, and the impact gun that I had was just not powerful enough. So I'll have to pick one up in the next couple of weeks or so, and hopefully with this weather, if it can work with me, then I can go back to making more recordings of getting the cover off, taking the chains off, and lining everything back up, and all that stuff. So I do have other videos to upload, and again, this video is to help, only just to help all the people out there with 3.6 motors who want to try and tackle it themselves. But if not, it's no big deal. I'm just doing it because I don't have the money and I need to have this back on the road as soon as possible. But in no way am I a master mechanic or a know-it-all. So before all the negative comments start coming on here saying such, I'm just putting it out there now. I'm just trying to help all the people who would like to try and tackle it themselves if they feel confident enough. But hopefully you take from the video and all the other videos that are coming your way, and kind of create your own system of how to do it, or whatever works best for you. But in no way am I a know-it-all. I just designed this video to help anybody who is dealing with how it's done, and hopefully by seeing what you got to go through, maybe you'll decide to take it to a dealer or a good mechanic that can take care of the problem for you and do it half than the dealer would charge, which again is this much. And so when I get my impact gun, I'll continue on And like I said, I'm all the way down to the crank pulley. Once I get that pulley off, then I can be able to back all the screws off. And once I get those off, then I can take that cover off. But again, this is just going out to help all the people this understand what goes into something like this, and hopefully to explain why it costs that much for labor. It's labor intense, but I really wish they put a recall on it, but they didn't, which really makes me frown at the new GM. But it's a business, right? Everybody has to make money. So, and shout out to all the CTS V owners with the V8, still out there running with no problems. You can spend a little extra money, you can have something that's really reliable. Even though with this, I've changed the oil, even with a little bit of color left to it. I don't usually let my oil get black. Came back with Mobil 1, like it says on the back of the oil filler cap, and used AC Delco oil canister filter every time. About 2 weeks ago, I just replaced the individual coils and spark plugs, and they're all from the dealer. So everything is genuine here. Because I said, if you use anything else, it'll really. Plus, I've always, went by the keep your GM vehicle all GM. So, all right. Well, hope you enjoy the rest of the videos. And again, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just here to help anybody that's kind of struggling to see what the process is, and just thought I'd share and help everybody. This is a 05 car. Well, here we are. I took the air cleaner off, and I have the power steering reservoir taken off and set to the side. And for those who are like me, who enjoy plug and playing things back together, I got me one of these from Home Depot. And alright, so for example, 29, we'll go with 29, and so on. I have the bolts for the power steering. They're even marked too. So 13, we'll go with 13, and so on. So what I gotta do now is I already have this the bracket for the ECU loose. So what I'm gonna do is, there's a bolt on the side here. It's a 10mm. Drop that out the way. Then I gotta get down here to the crank and take that bolt out and get ready to stick a puller in there. And don't ever stick anything behind here, because you'll just knock a hole through here. I've seen that on previous videos too, so I'm no different from anybody else telling you that. You do not want to pay money for a timing cover. It is just too expensive. But anyway, but yeah, same thing for the tensioners too. I took the tensioners off. So 25 would go with 25. Alright. I'm going to try to see if I can mount this phone somehow, so I could be able to kind of be in this position and get in here with both hands and everything, so you can see what I have to get to. But what I'm going to do now is I got to take this off, because you have 6 intake bolts here, and this one goes 1, 2, 3 going this way, but you you can't, you have to move this out of the way. And after you move this out of the way, then there's this down here, which on the inside of this has two 10mm bolts, and then this whole thing will come out. And then you can access your bolt here, because you can't stick anything back here. There's no room. So I'll do that and then come back and see if I can position this camera somehow, and so y'all don't really miss anything. But here goes nothing. The focus is not what I thought it would be, but this is a 9/32 1/4 inch. Alright, and that'll be able to get your bolts off for the shroud here. Okay. Let me trying to do this one-handed, but I don't really want to lose much time doing this. I'm really trying to do as much as I can today, being that it's raining out. And so damn it. Alright, so you have all these loose. This comes up like that. Alright, do is just take these up. And set these over here. Might need two hands for this. Actually, this whole thing's gonna have to come out. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Yeah. So this is a right here, a 10 bolt. Just take your 10mm and okay. And once that comes off, then you're going to have to, what happens next anyways, this cap comes up, and a 14mm or a 9/16 in standard. Whoa. Pop that up, and then you'll be able to what I want to try to do is see if I can, because it's a two-piece, but the one tucks in. I want to see if I can be able to separate this, which I don't think I'll be able to do. I'm not even going to try. So let me just do it the right way, and I'll be right back. Okay, I had to use a pair of pliers to pull that off the wiper arm, and alright, so when you go to reinstall it, just make sure you kind of feel the grooves and stuff like that, so you won't strip this out, because then you'll have one working and one not. But you don't have to take this up all the way. I just took that 10 out of there so I can have a little bit of a shake space and everything, but this part tucks underneath of this, so when you pick it up, it just splits in half like this, and then you just take this part of the shroud, kind of move it out the way, and well, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Or you can kind of twist it and move it out the way, pull it over, just take it out your way. Alright. Now, with those out the way, you have those two 10s, which will take this out of the way, so that way you can access your intake bolt right there, because with this whole thing on, like I said, you won't be able to get anything in there to get it out. So that's what we're going to do. Grab a 10 and yeah. Okay. That's one. That's two. Again, I apologize on the camera here, it's all shaking and stuff, but I tried to find something to stand this up on. Okay, and then that will just pull forward. Alright, so when it goes in, it sits in and you just pull it out. And then without it that way, you can be able to access your intake screw right there. So we'll set this on the ground. And put these screws back in here. And a couple of other things too, real quick, if I can point out. If you're ever wondering where your thermostat was located and people told you it was on the firewall, it's because it is. Well, first here, your heater hose is here. Alright. And you gotta take that out the way to access them, but then you can't really see it. I'll tell you what, once I take off this thermostat, when I pull this intake, I'll be able to show you where the thermostat's located, but it sits right back there. Alright, so I'll make a video of where the thermostat's located after I pull off the intake. Alright, once again, I just want to apologize for not being able to have like a stand or something that I can make to have the camera do this the whole time I'm working on it, but I'll try to be as detailed as possible. I'm sure somebody's going to come along and do it better than me. Plus, I don't have any air tools, so. But anywho, these intake bolts here, they're all 13 millimeter. And once you have them all loose, first it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you have them loose, it'll be able to lift up like that, but then you have one more that's holding you, and that's that little 10 right here, because there's a bracket that goes all the way down to that 15. No, I'm sorry, a 17. So you try to shake it, and it's getting caught there. Now you can loosen the 15, or you can just take a 10 like I did. I'll try to take up this intake by hand. And all this does is, well, holds this wiring harness in here, but I took off the, I broke it, but that's what it did. This zip tie, it held in this wiring harness right here. So, you can move that out the way. Now that it's separated, put this back in here so you won't forget where it goes. And you can be able to pick up the intake. Now let me see if I can be able to do this with y'all still being able to view. No, I won't be able to. So let me get back to you. Alright, I was only able to move it a little bit because I just realized that this PCV line attaches, it goes into the back of this, let's see if I can it goes into a T right there. Let's see if I can, right here, it attaches. Alright, so that's the T, and this part, like I said, goes to the top of the, routes all the way down to the top of the valve cover. And then one side goes all the way around here, which I disconnected. This is a bracket. Alright, that goes there. So what you're going to have to do is take a flathead. Just be careful. Just pry it a little bit. A little bit back, and see if you can take your hand and just pull it out the rest of the way. And when it comes out, what makes it difficult is you got this, I probably did that on accident just because I used a flathead, but that's why. So I have to pick up another one of these from Cadillac, or maybe I can just get another one of these, but yeah. So you pull that out, and you do the same thing to the other side here. Well, maybe I don't have to, because, well, yeah, that's what I'll do. Just gotta there you go. And the same thing happened. It split a little bit. Yeah, so if that happens to you, then just go ahead and replace that. It's not clogged in here. I try to keep the oil changed every time it's ready. And I usually drain it when there's still a little bit of color in it. So, but anyway, off comes the intake. Oh wait, hold on. Before I do that, I got one more 10mm bolt that I gotta relieve. mind you, this intake is going to have to come out every time you do your spark plugs. Now, usually when I do my spark plugs, I like to stick, even though this is a German motor. GM always said, keep your GM vehicle all GM. And but I've seen people put in GKs in here and iridiums and all that stuff. So actually, the factory spark plug from AC Delco is iridium. But anyway, now that that bracket's off, we can pull off the intake, and that's what it looks like underneath. Ugh. This is the gasket, the intake plenum gasket that you got to replace every time you do your spark plugs. And the only reason why you have to take out this intake gasket all the time and replace them is you always have to yank your intake plenum. Because you have coils here, 3 on each side, and this is being blocked by the intake, and so is this one. Same thing holds true on the other side. So that's what you got to do every time you do your spark plugs, just so you can be able to get to it. And I've already done this, like I said, a few times, and it's a Felpro gasket, and I believe that's the part number, but I have the box right here that it came in. And the part number is MS96976. Twin cam, 2004 to 2009 with a 3.6, and it's a 217 CID, cubic inch displacement. Leave that here. Now, holy crap. Now these sides were clean, and all this was dirty. So I'm definitely, and the way it was running, it was just running very choppy. A little bit of acceleration. So next thing I'm going to do is, now with the intake out of the way, I'm going to take off this computer module and be able to access the clip behind here that holds in the wiring harness. It's my first time doing this, so forgive me if I'm going too slow. I'll try to learn how to edit all this down. And you're going to have to drain your coolant out of the thermostat, because this is going to have to come out of the way. Plus, to get down to that bolt, I have a impact gun, and it's not going to fit in between distance. So I'm pretty much starting from the top and working my way down. The alternator is located here, and I already loosened the bracket bolts for it. There's 1, 2, and 3. But then you have the alternator itself, which you have bolts going in from the tire going towards the driver's side. So they're all, let me see if I can, see, I'm trying to explain, because, well, there goes one right there, but they're all going in this way. Best way to access that is to raise the vehicle up on a jack, and then you can be able to access the alternator bolts from underneath. Alright, so I'm going to stop here and go ahead and get at this control module bracket, get that out the way, and then I'll separate these two brackets right here, and then shoot down from there. Got the spark plug coils out. The actual spark plugs are still all the way down there in the well. I just wanted to make a quick video on when you finally get down to the injector. You're going to have to take your hook tool. This right here is a safety, and when you push it down, there's clips on both sides here. So there's 1 foot here, 1 foot here, so 4 total. You kind of just take your hook tool and push that 1 foot in, and on the other hand you can pull this up, and that's what it does. It just kind of pulls up. I know lighting is terrible. I should just make another video of light. But then you can get in here with your hook tool and kind of just pull back, and then great, it's not going to let me do it one-handed. Let me see, let me try it again. Stick it in there, pull it, and then pull it out like that. Alright, and that's how you can unplug your injector. And you have 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that handles the injectors. And why I am unplugging the injectors is because I have to take a 10 bolt out of here and right back there, because when I try to remove the valve covers, I'm going to run into clearance issues. This will bang into the intake here, the lower intake, and there is a gasket down there that you're going to have to replace. It's pretty thick, but yeah, so because I was trying to get away from doing that, but when I looked, I was like, okay. I saw in all the other videos that they were taking off their intakes, and I was like, oh man, let's see if I can try to get around it, because that's the way I like to work. I don't have to do any extra work. But yeah, so the intake definitely has to come off, because you're going to have clearance issues on both sides trying to pull these rocker covers off, or valve covers. I hate these computer cars. Real quick about the fuel injection when you're unplugging it on a 3.6. The passenger side is very nice to do, because the third one is still kind of in your face, to where the driver's side will be all the way in the back. And I'm starting to think that's why they take out the whole shroud, well, the whole 2-piece shroud, just so you can have good luck getting back there. But this is what I did to get back there. I took the hook tool and was able to, well, I'll show you here what you have to do. When these things are plugged in, let me push this all the way down. They'll click and you'll know. They look like this. So what you have to do is, now this thing's going to move all over the place, but what you do is you take your hook tool and you just kind of like push it in this way, and as that plastic piece pushes in this way, you could just take your hand and pick it up, and it will come up all the way, because I already have 2 here in my hand. Alright, this is what, for the people who might have thought they broke, this is what they look like when they come out. Nice and clean. So if you broke it, this is just a good way to tell if you broke it or not. But because I didn't break these, so this is hopefully a good example of alright, you can pause that part. So but then after you get that out, you take a flathead screwdriver and the remaining prongs, which is this one and that one, you get in and you push it back, and once you push that back, it relieves the clip that's down there, which you guys can't see. I'm gonna have to get my pair of pliers, but it's really raining here, so I want to try to go ahead and just do this and come back and show you exactly, you know, just to be detailed with everything that's involved, because you just think, okay, injectors and everything. So alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so once you have all the injectors unplugged and the main wire, which this is the plug for that. Once you have everything unplugged, then this can come up and it's free from the motor. Now, I was having a hard time in the last video trying to explain you how these actually come off of the injector itself. So what I did was do this so I can explain a little better. I took the flathead screwdriver and just pushed it in like this. I didn't go in like this. I did that in the front and it wasn't really working. So I just took the side of it and just kind of pushed these two in, and at the bottom it will relieve that clip. Okay, so that clip right there will go forward after you mash on this, and then you just pull up on it. And I'll just put the safeties back on here. Oh, wait a minute. That's one on the way. Okay. That's in. That's one. And then take the other one. Two. Alright, you can move that out the way. Now, your fuel rail can come up, and you have 1, 2, 3 10mm bolts. I already relieved the pressure in the fuel rail so nothing will splash up at me. Not sure that's I did already, but let me just go ahead and I didn't forget about that thermostat, but once I get this fuel rail and intake out the way, I can be able to show you exactly where it is. Alright, so you just take the hook tool again. Now, like I said, I did this already. You want to just stick it right on top of this, just like a bike tire. Alright, push it down a little bit and get all that pressure out of there. And then take your 10. is how long your bolts are. Alright, so that's for the back one. Alright. This is the middle one. Trust me, I'm not trying to be all up in the shot here. I'm just trying to do my best with so far they're all the same size. Yeah, that was it. Just move these over to, ooh, gosh. Alright, now, there are some clips on here, but I want to see if we can try to pull up the whole injection. Because I don't think I have that special tool that can be able to take that clip off. This is what I'm trying to take off now, this clip right here. See if I can. Okay. Everybody's gonna have their own way of taking this off, but there you go. There it is. That's the. Now that came off. Let me just get underneath here real quick and try to. Well, that's all you have to do. I'm sure it has to come off all the way, but let me do the rest to the rest of them. That was that side. I'm sure this side is going to be, again, the driver's side is going to be a little bit more difficult than the passenger side, but I'll get back to you and tell you how I did it. Alright, so I didn't wind up taking the fuel rail off, being that the fuel line is like this. So being that it all flexes and everything, I was just like, the hell with it. So I'll put that one clip back on. So I left all the fuel management here on the intake itself. And again, you can't really, this phone sucks, but anyway, it's really dirty, so I want to come back with the get all that carbon buildup out of there. And yeah, and then yeah, even in the injection port, it's kind of dirty, so I'll clean up all that and with a wire brush. Then when that comes off, you're able to see. Well, like, you know what, screw it, hold on, let me just get this. Oh man, I'm doing any half-ass videos, even though I have so far. Alright, and you'll be able to see your valves. And this is the look. This is what mine looks like. I burn 89. I don't burn regular in it. I burn 89, so that's why it's kind of clean like that. And then also, like I told you before, going down here, this is where your thermostat's located. When I replaced it, I never took out the I never had to drop the intake to get to it, but now being that I see how easier it is to get to, drop your intake out the way, because you don't want to pull all this off. You'd rather just take off that 1/2 and drop your intake just so you can get to now on the 3.2 V6, where I thought it was located anyway. When your thermostat would be located right here, nice and easy. But on the 3.6, your thermostat is located back here, and I just replaced that maybe 2 months ago. The needle at normal operation temperature is a little bit before the halfway mark, just in case anybody was wondering about that. But before I replaced that, and when I say I replaced everything. The housing comes with, it doesn't come with the bolts, so you know, if you want to replace your hardware, you will. Just go ahead and do it. If not, then take a wire brush and just clean the threads out, because the threads will get dirty. These were caked on pretty well, so I just replaced them. But the housing and the thermostat is all one unit. Alright, and then you just take out your hose here, which is the bottom hose that goes into your well, it goes to the bottom of your reservoir for the coolant. And then got on a little tangent there. Anyway, that line goes over here and goes into the thermostat housing, and then that hose that you see at the bottom of the alternator for your lower radiator hose, well, it starts all the way back there and it wraps down to here. Alright, so that's your tube, and then you got your hose that goes into the rad. Alright, so we got that out the way. I'm going to go ahead and take off the remaining of these coils, and then go back to the front here and drop the bracket. I never had a chance to do that yet, so stay tuned. Okay, to take this bracket off for the ECU, okay, it's just it's 3 bolts. You have one here, 2, and then you have another one on the side, which is 3. Okay, now these 2 bolts right here for the bracket are the ones for the bottom. Now the third one is sticking out on its side. Right there. Okay. That's the third one. Alright. And once you have that off, you have easier access at your alternator. The 1 bolt. Let me get my flashlight again. You got 1 bolt right there, and I believe that's a 15. And you got 2 on the bottom, but there's a heat shield here and everything. So I'll get underneath the car and be able to tell you all that. But first, I'm going to label my sensors here for the cams. I guess these are cam sensors, and and everything. Also, to take this off, you just pull that forward, and then after you have all these unplugged, this will get out of your way. And same thing for this side. You just it's not going to do it now just because. Let me get my okay, move this out the way. Pull that forward, and then you can lift up, and that's that out of the way. Kinda. I still have to remove this coolant line. Alright, so after I squeeze those two tabs and release that, actually they're tight. That should be fun. I can get a pair of pliers in there, squeeze those, and then and everything. So yeah, we're almost here. I never had a chance to get at this crankshaft pulley yet, and on the other video from 2012 Nugget, he said that if you don't want to struggle, you can either I guess take a puller and yank that pulley off, or like he said, you can back that off, and as it's backing off with a wrench, you can well, after you drop this bolt out the way, you can, not that bolt but the one up here, and you can easily access the bolt behind the pulley right there. So drop this bolt first, and then you can get the wrench in there and back that bolt off, and that'll separate the power steering pulley, the power steering assembly. You got one up here. I think there might be one behind that one too. So yeah. Alright, so so far we got that out the way. I'm just going to label all these and unplug them, and then get this wiring harness out the way, and then proceed to drop that crankshaft pulley out the way. Alright, I'll be back. I really want to apologize again for not being able to keep up with every little thing that I'm doing on here. From the last video, I think the alt tensioner bracket was still attached to the motor, so I apologize for all that, but if it helps any, you have 3 screws facing you, 1, 2, and 3, and they're all 15mm, and then there's one behind the alternator, which is a part of this bracket, and it's going in this way, and that's a 13mm, and then you'll be able to take the whole thing out without even removing the alternator away from this pulley. Figure the less hard you work, the better. So now with that out the way, you're able to gain access to the bolts that were pretty much blocked by this bracket, and it goes all the way down, even behind here. Well, that's dirty. You can't really see that one because it's, well, you can kind of see it, but it's just dirty. Once this tensioner, excuse me, once this crank pulley come off, then there's going to be more bolts behind this, so I'm going to do that now. I already have the rad drained out, and I just got to pull the radiator out of it so I can be able to get in there and use my impact gun to break that bolt loose. And if I can't break it loose, being that it is an electric impact gun, I guess I'm going to be stuck until I can maybe see if I can get something that's a little bit more heavier duty. But so yeah, but other than that, we have everything labeled, we have everything unplugged, and It's one big mess here. So, but let me go ahead and sign off here, and then I'll come back, and this rat should be out of here, and I should be able to make a video with me using the impact gun to pop that, looks like a 17 bolt socket. And does anybody else have these marks on their unless it's just mine, not sure, but yeah, these look factory. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, so I have the screws here for the rad bracket, and can't even get that with my hand. Just put this over here. I need to get that special tool that's good with what you have to do next is take your 10 socket and separate the condenser for the air conditioner away from this radiator. So that's next. Alright, so you take your 10 socket here and as you can see, it just pulls away, and then that there. Okay. And then you just having fun yet? I sure am. Anyway, now what we have to do is separate your transmission lines, which you're going to have to I want to see if I can try to not have to do that, being that they route that way. Maybe I can just kind of like pick this up and tilt it out to the side or something like that to kind of keep it from, which will make it tight in here, but if I can save myself from trying to spend more money, then I will. So that's what we're going to do, but I'm going to need first I have to go over here, which I'm so glad we're rolling, because I wanted to show you is, let me stand over here so I can make it better for y'all. to see. Hopefully. Alright, so down here, there's a screw, which is a right here, which is a Phillips head. I kept it loose on purpose because it was really a pain to get out. But you have to loosen that out before you pull out the whole rad. So, you know what? I actually take that back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm learning as I go. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm going to go ahead and take out the fans, and that should be able to give me a little bit of room to stick that impact gun in there. I think that's what I'll do. So I'll still pop that screw out. That will this is for the AC line. That's what it is. That runs all the way. That's what that screw is holding. So I'll pull this out, unplug the fans, and then just take the fans out. I don't have to drop this radiator. Again, I'm learning as I go. I'll be right back. To those who are stuck on trying to get that out and decided to take a pair of pliers and just keep on backing it out, what you can do is take a God, I hate this phone. You can't even see nothing. This is a 6.5 millimeter socket. Stick that in there. Alright. And this is what I did anyway. And once you get it in there, you take a pair of pliers and stick it on the socket part. Sorry about this wire being in the way. I can't help that real fast, but go ahead and stick that in there. Put a pair of pliers on the socket side and just turn it. Alright, and that's how you're able to do that until it's loose enough to back it out the rest of the way with your hands.